Welcome, everybody, to tonight's meeting of the Jones Library Board of Trustees. Did I say Board of Trustees? The Jones Library Building Committee? One too many Jones Library meetings. And if you would indicate your presence verbally. Sharon?
Here.
1 second, Paul. I'll get to you 1 sec. Christine?
Here.
Jennifer?
Here.
George Hicks? Well, George is there and some now. Is it possible that George Ryan into the, oh, there he is. Into the thing? There he is, George Ryan. Paul?
Present.
George Ryan, are you present?
I'm present.
Thank you. Okay, we are convened. And before doing anything else, I just want to take a minute to welcome George Ryan as our newest member of the Jones Library Building Committee. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to working with you. I also wanted to say a word of thanks to Pam Rooney, who served on the Jones Library Building Committee, so to speak, from its beginning, and who made many very important contributions. Her presence will be missed. And George Ryan, you have a lot to live up to. So we're gonna be judging you. All right. First item of business is the approval of minutes of August 11th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Christine. Is there a second?
Second.
Fabulous. Okay. Any corrections to the minutes? Okay, on the motion of approving the minutes, Sharon, how you vote?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
George Hicks Richards? George, approving the minutes?
Yes, approve.
All right, and George Ryan, do you want to approve minutes for a meeting that you did not attend?
I should abstain.
Thank you, and Austin votes yes. Okay, next item is a construction update from our fabulous owner's project manager, Trey.
Good evening, everyone. So I will be running us through our construction update. Lots happened in the last month. So I'm going to share a few pictures with you guys and just give you a brief synopsis of what's going on. So first slide here we have is can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Perfect. So first off, a lot of site preps happened, as you can see in this picture. So this is all for stormwater pond retention. So this whole area has been filled with riprap stone, larger stones, and so this area can retain more water so we don't get runoff into our neighboring CVS parking lot. In this picture, I want to show is you can see the separation of the building from 1990s addition to the old historic. So that's one thing I wanted to point out in this picture. Next, interior demo. So a lot's been going on in the basement, first floor and second floor, the historical side, regards to abatement. So that's what we're kind of showing here and we're getting to the tail end of it. We probably have another week or so of just abatement in the interior of the historical building. So it's been going very well, actually. So next, we're moving into kind of the 1990s edition. And as you can see, that's that cut I showed you in the first picture. So we have temp shoring up. That's also what I'm showing here, making sure that we're keeping the building structurally sound prior to when we started the demo process of the 1990s building. And then we get to the fun part, which was very cool to watch. And we had this giant excavator from our demo sub, and they went and rip down the 1990s edition. Very cool to watch, and you can see all this stone here also that I showed in the first iteration of the slides for water control. Majority of this is down. So this has all been ripped down, and so we're getting in the upcoming stages of us getting into foundations of the new edition in the upcoming months. So next month's construction update, that's what we'll be really focusing on. To the right here, we have just this was the old cinema room, and you could see in the ceilings, we have all of the MEP coordination kind of down. The only thing kind of we had left was this fire alarm, and this has actually been handled now as well. To the just construction debris. This is what this takes. This is what goes on every day. They're taking out debris out of the building on a daily basis, and it's pretty impressive what they've accomplished in the last month. To the right here, this is along the Historical Society's building. This is the easement that we had, so we wanted to get work done completed in this area and kind of stay out of that area. So this is what that is, and this is just us kind of also separating the historical versus the 90s side of the exterior here. Here's a pretty cool view of standing where the atrium was and what entail the demo process here. So again, all of this has been cleaned up. This is just a shot from a couple weeks ago. To the right here, you can also see that separation of the building, and then this is a good shot of abatement. So all of this plaster and all of these walls officially have been abated and given the okay through our environmental hygienists and monitors. So very cool stuff here to watch go down. Bottom left here, this is an old mechanical room. As you can see, there's nothing in it. We had fire suppression, so the sprinkler system, HVAC equipment, and the old electrical service, all of that's been removed. So this is the old mechanical room, and there's one next to it that has also been completely more or less gutted. And to the right here, again, just a very cool shot of us removing the 1990s edition. And that's all I had for a construction update. I'm happy to take any questions.
Right. Any questions on the construction update? So, Trey, may I just ask a couple of questions? You said the abatement has gone well, and I wonder if you could. I don't know what the abatement is going well means. Can you tell me in what way is it going well, and what did that mean?
Yeah, so in abatement, we this is mainly asbestos that we're talking about. And this was removal of like the plaster on walls, the historical millwork, for example, being attached to those walls, being cleaned off and tested. All of that process has more or less gone smoothly through this. We have ran into some areas that we, thought some stuff was hot, for example. When I say hot, meaning look like it could be asbestos. And, we went through the process of testing throughout all of this. And our hygienist, Atlas, who's been on site daily doing daily logs, reporting findings, and being more or less my eyes and ears in containment areas, because I am not licensed to be in those areas, has reported everything going very smoothly with the sub. So,
Is there a town process, Trey, that is the town involved in any way in certifying that the asbestos removal has been done, so to speak, up to code?
yeah, so the testing results, we do air monitoring samples. All of those results have been shared with the town, yes. So that is the clearance that you are referring to, Austin.
Right. And then one other question, Trey, just remind me what happens with this construction material that is removed from the site on a daily basis?
So in this project, there is some requirements that we need to hit. For example, 75% of waste material needs to be more or less recycled. So American Environmental, who is our sub demo contractor, we have multiple dumpsters, i.e. metal, and then other dumpsters that it's not we're just chucking this stuff in a dumpster. They're being methodical and when separating these two, what can be recycled versus what is just actual waste. That is a part of the project, and it is written in the specifications that is a mandate for the project.
Great. Thank you, Trey. Other questions about the construction update? Okay, Trey, if you take down your screen share for the moment.
Good.
Thank you for that. Thanks for the work that you are doing in keeping this project. Oh, so where are we in terms of time? Are we kind of on the timeline? Are we ahead? Are we behind?
Yeah, so I was gonna touch on that. So schedule-wise, Fontaine, the general contractor, is right where they need to be.
Okay.
And that is a emphasis of our meetings every week. I ask that question to them all the time. How you feel about schedule? Right now, they're feeling very good about where they are currently. So yeah, I mean, if you look at the baseline schedule for it was produced to their monthly updates, I think that they're right where they need to be.
Right. Okay, any other questions for Trey on the construction update? Okay, so our next is review and approval of invoices. Is that Trey, you or Jennifer?
No, that's me.
Okay.
I'm going to share my screen again. We'll just go to the next slide. So we have 7 total invoices to review this evening. I have them open on a different page. If you guys don't have the packet handy, I can show each individual one. But these are the totals. So the first invoice we have is Johnson Controls. Now this is $480.58. And this is for them to deactivate the existing fire protection alarm system. Fontaine has their own, at the request of the Amherst Fire Department, we have their own monitoring service throughout the durations of the project. So we took the existing offline, and that's what this $480 is.
Okay. Trey, is it easy enough for you to show the actual invoices
Yeah, absolutely.
just so that members of the public who don't have the packet in front of them could see what we're actually talking about?
Mm-hmm. Can all of you see? Yep, you guys can see this. So this is Johnson Controls. As I
Yep.
said, this is the one invoice for the $480.58. And the breakdown is right here. So alarm detection, labor hours. It was 2 hours worth of work, no material charges or equipment
Right.
for protection, and no truck charge.
Any questions about this invoice? So why don't we go through all of the invoices and maybe we can look at them. We have any questions, then maybe we can vote them all at once unless somebody wants to pull one out. So Trey, if you go to the next one.
Yep. So next we have NV5. This is our commissioning agent for the project. And this total invoice is for $7,800. I had questions on this, so I did give them a buzz. This $7,800 is for their submittal and spec review. So the contractor, they submit what is going into the project: HVAC equipment, electrical fixtures, everything that goes into that. And the commissioning agent will review each submittal that comes through and give any, questions or approval. So this $7,800 is their preliminary submittal and spec review for the project. I found this fair. So after talking with them, and so yeah, that's NV5. That is, again, our commissioning agent for the project.
Trey, when you say you talked to them, was there something in this invoice or in this work that you had a question about?
It was just the amount, more or less, Austin. But after talking to them, they had a good amount of hours into this.
Okay. All right, questions on this invoice? All right, Trey, go to the next one, please.
Yep. So next we have Fontaine Brothers and their pay app number 3 for the month of August. This is a total of $2,409,999.47. This has been thoroughly vetted through FAA, our architectural firm, as well as Colliers. Nothing really seemed out of line. They're billing appropriately for percent complete. Is kind of how we review these. So you see this GC percentage, that's an indicator of how far along more or less they are in each process of each individual line item. So this $2,409,999.47, again, thoroughly vetted through FAA and myself, and we found that this was a fair number for the month of August for them to be billing towards.
Questions on this invoice? And again, Trey, just so everybody understand, when you say thoroughly vetted, so the architect has to sign off on the payment, and what is it that they're doing when they're vetting it?
So again, I kind of touched on it. We're looking at percent completion
Yep.
and what has actually been done on site for that month. So for example, like if we went into the demo line item, I might have blown by it. Did I go by it? I don't want to hold up anybody, but for example,
no.
if you were to go into like, this could be an example, toilet partition. So they have
Yep.
toilet except $10,000. Like if I
Yep.
knew that labor wise they had only installed half of them and they were trying to bill 70%,
Yeah.
that would be a red flag to us. So we would say, hey, you're only halfway done, knock that down to 50%, and they would do so.
And the architect is doing that as well.
Correct. We're both sides. Yep.
All right. All right. Again, any other question on that invoice? Please go to the next one.
Okay. Next, we have FAA, who I just talked about, Feingold Alexander
Yep.
Architects. There's 2 invoices from them. This is for their construction administrative services. They've billed out previously for the other portions of the project. So they are billing, which is their scheduled amount per contract, is $63,250 for this month.
Questions on this invoice? And construction administration, can you just say a word of what that means? Is that like what we just talked about? They're reviewing invoices, or what?
Yeah,
services?
they have a lot more into the construction administrative services. So RFIs, requests for information, when contractors have
Yeah.
answer questions, these RFIs are submitted. They're going through with their sub consultants and making sure that all of those questions are getting answered. Submittal approvals, for example, making sure dimensions are working with whatever they're submitting. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and especially in the beginning of a project like this, there are a lot of submittals thrown into their court.
Yep.
So that's kind of the construction administrative services that we're talking about, updating drawings as well. So
Yep.
all of that's included in this for this month.
And FAA has a person designated as the lead in doing this?
Correct. Dan Wilder is our lead point of contact through Feingold.
Great.
Yep.
All right, any questions on this invoice? All right, please go on to the next one.
Kristen, did you have a question?
Oh, sorry, Christine.
Yeah, it's okay. I was wondering if just briefly we could go back to the big one, the one Fontaine's before, and Trey, it was page 1 of 21 and page 2. If you could just point out, because I think this is just helpful for the public, is because we're going to keep coming back to this every month, and you're going to show. So on the bottom of page 1, it actually has the demo section, and you can point out the percentage complete. And then at the top of page 2 is the abatement part. So like supervision and project management is only 50% done, and then most of it's 100 on the demo with some 90.
Mhm.
Just if you could just explain like how that number comes up or who puts that in.
So Fontaine is the one who is entering percentages. So that that's their first go. They give me a pencil version of this more or less. So that's when I actually got September's today. So that'll be on my to-do list. The 100, so this is each line item has a designated schedule of value to each specific line item. So again, Fontaine enters this percentage. So that's $5,000, for example, for the submittals. That's 100% complete because they've been approved. Same thing for like supervision and project management. We're at 50%. So they were actually trying to build a little higher than this. And I said, whoa. That's you're only about halfway through. And by the end of last month. So that's what you see, this 50%. So at the bottom of it, you see this 66%. So that is the total percentage from last month, what we thought demo was complete. Which was right about where we felt comfortable approving this. Moving to abatement, it's kind of the same situation with the percentages. You know, some of this hasn't started last month. So first floor, they're in there. I expect this percentage to go up considerably for this pay period. Same thing with slate removal and plywood install, exterior windows and doors and vents. They hadn't got to that abatement scope yet. So that you're seeing that 0%. So full abatement wise for this payout, for example, you're seeing that 39%. So I hope I answered your question.
You did. Thank you. That's really helpful. And just one more, if we were to see savings or if it's overrunning, how does that show up on that? And thank you. I think this will help people understand these forms as we move forward.
Yeah, so savings is going to be very difficult to see in a payout. This is an AIA document that's used by every general contractor. The one place you will see that more or less is in additions and deductions. So if we have, for example, we had the roof rebid, change order go through, that's what this number is showing. Now, when we get into scope that, you know, we can save some money on and whatnot, that will be moved into deduction. So that's one place you can look for savings moving forward.
Great. Thank you.
You're
All right,
welcome.
Trey. I think you're going to our second FAA invoice.
Yep. So here's the second one, and this is for subconsultants. So we had acoustical subconsultant. They do sound checking, monitoring, making sure that the you know, you're not bouncing noise all over the place within the building through the design. A very minimal amount of $470. The second one is the geotech engineer for $7,395.30. This was for geotech and for some soil checking out, as well as they produced the reporting for that. So this number plus the 470 from acoustical gives you the total of $7,865.30.
Okay, questions about that invoice? Okay, Trey, next is Collier's, right? There we go.
Correct. So Collier's invoice was for a total of $32,393.66. This is for our OPM services for the month of August.
Questions about that invoice? Okay,
And next, which will be a recurring invoice monthly, is rent from Slow Body Development for the $21,078.42. And this is for the leasing of the temporary space.
any questions about that invoice? All right, Trey, anything else invoice-wise?
Nope, those are the 7 that we're seeking approval for this evening, and the total amount is $2,542,867.43 between the 7. Just wanted to share that number with you as well.
And that comports with what we would have expected from our budget and the way the expenses are gonna go.
Yeah, give or take a couple, I mean, the cash flow that is provided, we're right about where that was. Yep.
Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve these invoices?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion of the invoices? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you to vote. Christine,
Yes.
George, Ryan,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
George Hicks Richards,
Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
and Austin votes yes. Thank you for that, Trey.
Welcome.
Next item is correspondence. I don't have any. Topics not anticipated. There are none. Next item is public comment. We have, looks like 6 members of the public. If any of them would like to make a comment, if you would raise your virtual hand. Okay, I see no request for public comment. Thank you all. We will adjourn and we'll see each other again in about a month.
Sounds
Stay
good.
well. Thanks, everybody.